This is News Today, and my name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Now, irate youth in Ashaiman, you recall in June 2013, protested against the bad nature of roads and the lack of street lights in the area. The rioting youth took over the toll booths on the motorway and looted money and other properties. Following the protest, authorities began work on the road network, linking the municipality to the rest of the town. Well, it's been over a year since, and my colleague Redwan has visited the area to assess progress of work on the road that generated a lot of chaos. He's joined me via telephone with a quick update on that. Hello, Redwan.
Hello, Kamini.
What have you observed?
Good afternoon, Kamini. Indeed, it's been a year since the violent demonstration at a shaman by some irate youth to actually register their displeasure about the poor nature of roads in the municipality. And since that incident, obviously, not much has been done to put the roads in a better shape. And so they are threatening to embark on another, this time, a more violent demonstration if government does not rehabilitate the roads. They are saying that the roads are taking, the nature of the roads is taking a toll on their health, and it's affecting their businesses and all of that. And so they are giving government just a few weeks to respond to the situation, else they will hit the streets again.
Now tell us, when you say nothing has changed, how do you mean?
Well, according to them, immediately the incident happened, the contractors came and they only did some plowing, and that was it. Obviously, because the situation died down, because tensions actually died down, we decided to abandon the project. And now the roads are in a very deplorable state. Dust all over. They can hardly breathe, Kamini.
I see. Now, have you been able to get in touch with authorities as to why things remain the same on the same road that got lots of persons injured?
Yes, we just finished talking to some of the drivers and commuters, and so we are now moving to the Ashaman Municipal Assembly to get a reaction from the Municipal Chief Executive, and so maybe we will bring that in the course of our subsequent bulletin.
Right. Thank you very much, Redwan, for that report. Let's turn attention to education now. Some heads of senior high schools in the Ashanti region are proposing government reconsiders its sanitary pad handout initiative contained in the secondary school improvement project and possibly channel the funds to other projects. Less than a percent of the $156 million World Bank loan will be used to finance the pad component to reduce the dropout rates among girls. But the heads who have been speaking to Joy News say there are likely to be problems with the distribution of the pad. Here's a report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nurdi.
To distribute sanitary pads to some deprived senior high schools in the country has become a national discussion over the past few weeks. While some Ghanaians share divergent views, others think it's a good initiative to increase school attendance among girls in the deprived communities. Most of the headmasters, though, are unclear about how the distribution will be done. The Adanwomasi Senior High Secondary School headmaster, for instance, fears the girls may be the subject of ridicule if they are to be distributed through the schools.
They were to purchase the pass and then deposit in the school with the headmaster or senior house master or even senior house master, and they ask the student girls to come and collect them. They may not even go because they may feel shy, because boys will be teasing them, hey, it's pass now, so that one will have its own challenges.
The intended beneficiaries themselves can't seem to find common ground, raising issues about brand taste and preference among others.
To me, it is not good and it's not fine for a male to give us pads. No, it is not good. And if he would be able to put that thing aside or stop giving us the pad and use the money that he's going to give us to do more things for the government, and that one will be very fine.
For me, I think the distribution of the pad is not a good act of the government. The reason being so is that when we come to the ladies' side, me for instance, let me say, to the ladies, most of the ladies, we have different pads that we used. Some use pretty, all right. We have different pads that we use, and the government cannot distribute only a pad, and only one type of pad for us to use. All of us to use. Some, it will benefit them, others, it will not benefit them. And
the suggestion, therefore, is that government rather invest the money in a different area. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin filed this report from the Ashanti region.
Now, we'll have a conversation around this in a bit, but in the meantime, the rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Godwin Kweku Aflakwi, has expressed worry over the snail pace of work at the Polytechnic and is appealing to government to ensure the GET Fund will bail them out of their current situation. A report from WA by Rafiq Salam.
WA Polytechnic, which was the last of the 10 regional polytechnics in Ghana, was officially established in September 1999. The first batch of tertiary students were admitted in 2003 to pursue HND programs in agricultural engineering, secretariatship and management studies. Nearly a decade after its establishment, the school operated from borrowed and rented premises to serve as its central administration, computer lab and classrooms before the Ghana Education Trust Fund constructed a modern administration block, a lecture theatre complex and bungalows for staff. However, the current allocation from the GET Fund is not enough to meet the pressing needs of the Polytechnic, especially residential facilities for students. At the fourth graduation of the school, Rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Godwin Kweku Aflakwi, expressed worry about the snail's pace at which projects are executed and appealed to the government to come to their aid.
Work on getting the full complement of our physical infrastructure in place to make our Polytechnic the primus inter pares in the conversion to technical university has stopped. For more than a year now, certificates submitted by contractors to the Ghana Education Trust Fund have not been paid. Indeed, I have heard from the grapevine that for 2013, only 5 months out of the 12 months money that accrued to the GET Fund was paid.
The Minister of Education, Professor Jane Nano Pokwajiman, in a speech read on her behalf by Dr. Daniel Pilori, assured the Polytechnic government will take steps to address the deficit in infrastructure at the school.
A New Patriotic Party youth activist, Richard Nyama, says he will seek a garnish order if government fails to pay in full arrears owed the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Government has released over 98 million Ghana cedis to GET Fund just days after an Accra Fast Track High Court issued the order. The court ruled that the 500 million Ghana cedi arrears be paid to enable the fund discharge its statutory responsibilities. Government over the weekend released 370 million Ghana cedis to clear accumulated statutory payments. Let's find out why this is not commitment enough for Richard. Richard has joined me over the telephone. Hello, Richard. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This isn't commitment enough for you?
For me, this is an indication that the government has hoarded the money and have probably been using it for something else or keeping the monies for 2016 elections. I go to court and over 9 months period, the government makes a commitment of, I think, 3 different payments. Just after I went to court, okay? When I went to court in January, I think the same month, 2 payments were made, and then subsequently a couple of payments were also made, and then brought to court as evidence of government's goodwill and good faith. And so as evidence that the government is willing and is paying. Now, per their own submissions, the last indicated date of payment or month that they paid arrears for is June 2013. As you and I currently speak, we are in July 2014. So they still owe 1 year's arrears. It is over 600 million Ghana cedis. Okay. The court rules, and 2 days later, government is able to release 370 million Ghana cedis. But the 370 million Ghana cedis is not meant for just GET Fund. It is meant for all statutory payments. About 200 of it to district assembly, 98 to get fund, 64 to NHIS. Point I am making is this. The money is there. If the government can find 370 million in 2 days, I can tell you that the over 4 billion that they have collected in taxes, that is meant for statutory payments, is in their possession. And so they should make it available for development projects in both health, the district assemblies, and then education.
And so what are the timelines we're looking at?
The timelines, unfortunately, I do not have a copy of the ruling. I just sat in court and heard through it. I'm currently not in town, but I have applied for it, and a copy will be made available.
Right.
But what I know is that the government still owes over years arrears in the Get Fund. So on my arrival, I'm going to get the details from Get Fund itself, go back to court, and let the court do a proper execution of the monies. But if 98 is being paid as a part of payment, what I can tell you is that that is in violation of the court order. The court said they should pay all arrears with immediate effect. So what I intend doing is this. When I have given the court the details and the exact amounts paid, they can give the proper order. And if that is not followed, like I have indicated and put out there, I'm going to go back to court and ask them to garnish the Ministry of Finance account. That is to stop the finance ministry touching that account and not being able to do anything until the monies have been paid. We cannot keep on paying our taxes to the government, and the government will refuse to do what the laws require of them. Point is that under statutory payments or statutory accounts, the government has no discretionary power, so they cannot pick and choose what amount they should pay and when they should pay. The law specifically states how much it should be paid, when it should be paid, and what it should be used for. The president and the minister of finance do not have that right whatsoever. And if you have a government that is lawless, you have underdevelopment. If you have a government that is lawless, you have these citizens being lawless. And it is time we put the president and the government on his toes.
Leave our conversation here for now and see what how this pans out. Thank you very much, Richard. Richard Nyama is an NPP youth activist. Now let's go back to our story on issues around the secondary school improvement projects, of which Parliament days ago approved a 156 million World Bank loan for secondary education improvement projects. The deal also has a component where government will distribute pads to schoolgirls. The move has been met with varied views from both political parties and non-governmental organizations. The Ghana National Education Coalition, I'm sure you recall, last week backed the move but called for less political involvement in social intervention projects in education. Challenging Heights, an education NGO also, which is part of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, is holding varied views. Now, here's what they're saying: that the project to provide sanitary pads is misplaced, and that's the scholarship portfolio. The scholarship portion, rather, will provide another avenue for scandals. We'll talk about this now. With me in the studio is James Kofian, and he's Executive Director for Challenging Heights. Why do you hold varied views?
Well, obviously, I believe that there's more pressing things and areas where the policy could have been sent to. We are not particularly condemning the policy of helping needy girls to have this sanitary pad, but taking it to the high school is highly a misplaced priority. We are saying that this policy is going to needy girls. If it's going to needy girls, then let's look at who are those needy girls who are most deserving of this policy. If it is needy girls, if you go to the villages, because of long distances in walking to school, some children start school at the age of 8. So by 13, 14 years, when they start having their menses, they are still in primary school. Some of them will be in JHS. Now, they are still young, but they are the ones that are most vulnerable. So if you are targeting people to support, then it is those who are still in primary and JHS who must be supported. If you take it to high school, by the time those needy girls get there, they are matured enough to take care of themselves. So to genuinely support needy girls to have this sanitary pad, then you have to take it to the primary and JHS levels.
I see. I want to believe that the Coalition on Education was part of the entire process of putting this together. Where was Challenging Heights at that point?
Well, the coalition is a very big, you know, I would say it's a big coalition. And, you know, sometimes when some of these issues comes up, the consultation levels are very small. So you don't get to make input at all levels. And I have called them actually to say that this is contrary to our own philosophy as an organization, as a coalition, that we place emphasis on basic education, and we want every child from the basic school to get to high school. And therefore, if you have a policy to support needy children, then it must go to the basic school. You know, more also when the targeting is for needy girls who probably started schooling late. We're talking about over 500,000 children at that level. That's the kind of, you know, that's the number of children we are looking at between the ages of 13 and 16 who are still in basic schools, who need this policy. And by the time they get to the high school, they are matured enough. And therefore, even though they don't have, they know what to do. But those who are in basic schools, they don't have and they don't know what to do. So if you really want to encourage them to prevent dropout, then they are the ones that you should target. But you know, in a lot of cases, and I'm glad that they mentioned that this policy should be devoid of any political interference. In most cases, you see that this targeting is done at the high school level because they can vote. That is wrong. It's a wrong way of treating our educational system. As soon as you do that, you are not looking at quality. You are looking at just your political expediency, and that is very, very wrong. I know, we must say, it's really wrong.
I see. Have we conducted any study in this area generally towards the need for sanitary pads for needy girls?
Well, I've seen some surveys banded around by foreign organizations, foreign universities that are banded around. I've not been able to authenticate it. Some are in support of it, others are not in support of it. But from where I am coming from, I know that there are some girls who definitely need some support, but definitely not in the high school. It should be in the basic school level.
Are we going to see you take any step in this regard? As far as I'm concerned, this project has started taking place already. It's kick-started. Is it?
And that is the unfortunate aspect of it, where decisions are taken before the general public is even informed of. I mean, for me, for all the problems that we are confronted with in our educational sector, this is the least expected policy that must be rolled out. We're talking about capitation grant, which is hailing. The capitation grant is the best policy ever to be introduced in our country. We are paying 4 CD 50 pesos per child, you know, for school children, and sometimes the term is almost ending before the grant is released. If you have extra money, you should target improving the capitation grant.
I want to believe that the aspects of the project that talks about improving existing facilities already would touch on that. It doesn't?
The aspect of education that touches on improving education, the whole thing is about senior high school, building 200
day community schools.
Yes, which is fantastic. I'm in full support of that. I mean, we need to increase the enrollment for senior high school education, to open our space for our economy, for job, employment and all of that. And in principle, you remember that when this free SHS thing came, I was the first person to say I support it. So what the government is doing in building 200 schools, I'm in full support. But those aspects that are not necessary, that are more or less a populist approach to
should have been channeled to lower basic education.
Exactly, that is our position.
I see. And then I ask again: are we going to see you take any action to this? The project is active already.
Well, in whatever the government is doing, I believe that the government is still taking input. The Ghana education sector review just ended. Their meeting just ended. And I believe that some of these input that all of us are making would help them inform the implementation of the project. I want to believe that the government has taken its own decision already and want to pursue it. But I also want to believe that the government is open to listen to more input, and therefore, as the project is reviewed, annually, they would take some of these input and discussions on board.
But do you realize also this is not our money? This is money we are getting from somewhere.
This is our money.
And we have been told, that we're going to give you the money. We need you to add that too.
My sister, it's our money. It's a loan that we are contracting, that we are paying with interest. It's our taxes. It's your taxes. It's not like a gift that we can say, okay, if it's a gift, then they decide what we use for. This is our own money. I pay tax, you pay tax. And so we are going to pay for it. And that is even the more reason why the application of this money should have been more thought of deeply. I want to believe that those who wrote the project document did not give it a deep thought. It was I see some level of mediocrity in the creation of this loan application, and that is unfortunate. I see.
We'll leave our conversation here for now. Hopefully in the future we'll see a review of this project that will take some action as far as lower basic education improvement is concerned.
Well, I want to believe so. I want to believe that next time they will give more thought to basic education, those who are suffering, those who really need it, who are in the basic education level. I believe so.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with James Kofi Annan, his Executive Director for Challenging Heights. Now, Challenging Heights believes that the free sanitary pass component for the scholarship package for senior high school girls is totally misplaced. Now, the Greater Accra NDC chairman, also former Ghana Football Association president Adekoko, says the commission of inquiry set up by the president to look into fallouts from Ghana's World Cup participation is the right way to handle the matter. Speaking on the AM show, Adekoko said arguments that ensued in Parliament Monday would have followed the usual partisan nature of dealing with issues.
Those who have been nominated.
Well, it's been met with mixed reactions as far as I'm concerned.
As far as my years on the ground, that's the best thing to have done. You see, when you take this to the floor of Parliament, look at what happened. Just even discussing the merits of a presidential commission or whatever. Look at what happened on the floor of Parliament. Immediately, the lines have been drawn, right? So nothing good is going to, because debate is going to be based on partisan line, right? And it's best to take out of Parliament and have a presidential commission clothed with the powers of a high court, right? And the people who have been nominated to go and perform the function, none of them have come to say whether they are NDC, MPP, CPP. They are Ghanaians. You see, we should always be looking at things in the lenses of Ghana. But the moment we turn out to look to things in the lenses of parties, then we lose the import of what what we want to do. There's been a big fiasco in Brazil. Management. Somebody told me that after the money had been sent to Brazil, in the morning some of them went to the market to go and do some shopping, and the people, the shop owners, no discount, no Ghana, no discount, no discount. You've got plenty money
in Brazil.
In Brazil. So they refused to give them discount because what they saw, but if you got 3 million.
I know it was on global TV.
They broke
it's the biggest TV station in Brazil.
You know, and so we must interrogate these things. What happened, right? And if we fail and look at this in political lenses, we want to apportion blames to a particular political party for not. But this is not a party that mishandled. These are people who were given a job to do and they did not do it well. And it behoves on all of us to give support.
Now, the police says it is still investigating circumstances that led to the shooting of a 29-year-old trader at Dakuman. The victim, who is currently receiving treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, is yet to recover fully. His relatives tell Joy News the doctors claim this could take up to a month. Speaking on News Desk, Greater Accra Regional Police PRO DSP Fremantete said he could not say if the police will foot the medical bills involved.
I'm not saying that the police cannot take care of the medical bills. Maybe the police administration is even considering that. I wouldn't be in a position to talk because I've not been given any hints about the police administration considering that. But what is important now is that there has been a shooting incident, a victim is involved, and an alleged perpetrator is also involved. The system is dealing with an alleged perpetrator. We are only hoping that the victim should be alive to further assist us with the investigation. And we are very grateful to the family for at least doing it best to make sure that this gentleman is alive. But the fact still remains that in as much as all of us have a responsibility to keep one another alive, we also have a responsibility that when a policeman stops, you have to stop. That is the first-hand information we've gotten. A policeman who is on lawful duty, when he or she stops you, you have to stop. So it's supposed to be a lesson for all of us. Nobody at this moment is apportioning blame. But it's also important that when we are stopped by law enforcement officer, we have to stop.
Meanwhile, the relative of the victim who spoke with me on condition of anonymity feared the investigation may just hit a snag.
Then, as he said, I hope that things will go the right way and the perpetrator will be accordingly punished. I was thinking the police will come in to take care of the bills and all that, but they just left everything to the family, and we are just managing and scratching the ground to see how best we can help getting back to work financially.
I want to believe, would want to know why the police cannot do that at this point. Is that right? There'll be more on this in subsequent broadcasts. But when I return, I'll tell you what's trending in business. I'm happy you stayed on here. On News Today, here's what's trending in business in Ghana. Civil Society Network Third World has condemned the decision of West African leaders to approve the signing of the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. According to them, the decision would lead to the collapse of the local manufacturing sector and a further depreciation of the Ghana cedi. It is therefore asking parliamentarians not to ratify the agreement whatsoever.
The decision to approve the EPA, which was taken at the 45th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government on July 10, 2014 in Accra, runs counter to the long-standing views and positions expressed by several groups, including United Nations and the African Union. For the Third World Network, which has been very vocal on the matter, the heads of state have failed to listen to their citizens.
For the heads of state not to listen to all these stakeholders, talk about the Christian Council, talk about the farmer-based organizations, talk about the African Union and the citizens of West Africa, all the citizens of West Africa who are actually going to bear the brunt of this trade pact. It's actually unfortunate for us as a region. Now parliaments across the region will have to ratify the agreement. And since parliament is the citizens' representative, they represent constituencies in West Africa, it is incumbent on parliament to make sure that they listen to the citizens. The executive actually failed as leaders. They've actually failed to listen to the citizens. They rather listen to the European Commission. Of course, we also call on the citizens across the region. Yes, people can demonstrate against the signing. They can call on their MP. What you are about to do is not good for us as a region.
They still maintain agreeing to the EPA would lead to the collapse of the manufacturing and other productive sectors of the economy.
We have what they call the export, with a prohibition on export taxes. How on earth will you agree that if I want to encourage the value addition in my local economy, I cannot do that? So once you, if you take an example of the scrap metal, something that is made available for local value addition within the local economy and creating jobs for people. And so as a region, we are saying that, look, from now on, we are not going to impose any export tax on any raw material that's leaving the country. And so the thing goes to Europe. They use it for their value addition and bring it back to us. And we are complaining of currency instability. So long as we keep on importing and we don't have a clear strategy as to how we can develop our manufacturing sector, we'll continue to complain about imports. We need to complain about lack of jobs. And so until we get that strategy right.
The Third World Network, meanwhile, plans to facilitate more interactions between citizens and Parliament to prevent the approval of the EPA.
Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry says it will be convening a meeting of top-level management to present a blueprint to government as part of the efforts to stem the continuous depreciation of the cedi against the dollar and other major foreign trading currencies. According to the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaje, they expect their long-term recommendations to feed into government's 2015 budgets. The Bank of Ghana has instituted some measures to stop the depreciation of the cedi through its revised forex rules. These measures have been criticized as experts say it has failed to yield any positive results. Groups including the Association of Importers and Manufacturers have been hit hard by the cedi's continuous depreciation against major trading currencies on the foreign exchange markets. The cedi this year alone has depreciated by 27%.
Okay, very good afternoon to you wherever you are. This is Sports on News Today with me, Benedict Owusu. The sports segment here is proudly brought to you by Cowbell. In our very first story, Ghana coach Salastete says he wants his players in the under-20 team to battle ready for their last African qualifying fixture. The Black Satellite squad will report to their camp base, that's the Jeffkins Palace here in Accra at Adenta this afternoon. Salas has named a 28-man list to begin preparations for the final qualifier for the 2015 African Youth Championship against Gabon. The two-leg third-round qualifier will be played in August, with the winner advancing to the finals to be staged by Senegal. The first leg will be played on the weekend of 15th to 17th of August, with a return scheduled for 29th to 30th of August. 7 winners will join host Senegal for the championship slated for 8th to 22nd March 2015. And president and owner of Kumasi-based club King Faisal Alhaji Karim Gusa has ordered Sule Muntari to apologize to Ghanaians for his unruly behavior during Ghana's campaign at this year's World Cup in Brazil. The AC Milan midfielder showed gross disrespect and got himself in a fight with Moses Amapaka, a management member of the Black Stars team in Brazil. And Sule, after the incident, was suspended and thrown out of camp, and his future now with the Black Stars is uncertain. Alhaji Gusa has condemned Muntari's ill-mannered and consistently disrespectful behavior and wants him to apologize and turn a new leaf.
I pray for him to change. But what he done, me, I won't follow him. I won't support him. It's against my ability and the Muslim community. Usile is my nephew, is my son, and we Zongo people, we are proud with Sile. We have Northerners, we have Zongo. Sile is a son of Zongo. The father is a chief of Zongo. We don't think Sile will do kind of this. What he done is a very bad. He should come and apologize to up to now people, especially some of you are lying to him. Dear Benabay and Oesa. Dear Benabay and our boo papa and I wouldn't be a penny. Excuse me. You should come and apologize. Come and apologize.
So that was owner and president of Kumasi-based King Faisal Alhaji Karim Krusa there, asking Sanitary to apologize to Ghanaians for his unruly behavior in Brazil. And former Accra Heart of Oak CEO Vincent Soa Odote has told Joy Sports it will be in the right direction to implement the proposed 18-club Premier League instead of the existing 16-team league. This proposal was put across by 60 eminent football administrators who attended a seminar to discuss the future and development of Ghana football last weekend. According to Odote, who once contested for the Ghana Football Association presidency, the increase in the Premier League by 2 additional clubs will ensure a quality league which will eventually reflect on the performance of Ghanaian clubs in Africa.
One of the reasons why our football clubs don't do in Africa is that they don't play enough matches. FIFA says a professional football must play a minimum of 40 matches in a year. We have a 16-club league, which means that they play, 30 matches? Yeah. The FA Cup just came in, it's not even properly structured. So, and the way we keep staggering the league, when we stop, in the end you realize that our teams are not really competitive. You look at Division 1, Division 2 even play more matches than Division 1. You have a Division 1 with one zone playing of 8 teams, some 7 teams. They play 2-3 months of the year. The rest of the year they are down. No, you don't build a competitive team and competitive players like that. So this is the reason why we made the suggestion along those lines. Because if we have to compete, we have to do things properly.
So Vincent Odote is a former chief executive officer of Accra Heart of Oak and Kumasi King Faisal. Let's do some more stories. And Ghana international Awal Mohammed believes he can learn from the experience of new teammates John Paintel. Paintel has been signed on by Maritzburg United in South Africa for the upcoming season in the South African top flight, a signing which has been hailed by Awal Mohammed. Having worked with Paintel in the Black Star squad during the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations, Awal is optimistic the signing could prove a shrewd business for Maritzburg. Paintel signed on as a free agent after playing for Santos last season.
In arts and entertainment, after a rather impressive showing last year, the Miss World Pageants Ghana, Miss World Pageant, Ghana might just miss out on the international pageant altogether this year, and because of the inability of the pageant's organizers to select someone to replace the reigning queen or ex-queen after abdicating her crown.
There's no denying the fact that beauty pageants across the world have been hit by one form of controversy or the other, and Ghana is no exception. Apart from the numerous beauty pageants organized by almost all the country's tertiary institutions, there are some well-noted ones including Miss Malaika, Miss Earth, and the longest running of them all, Miss Ghana. Considered the most prestigious of the pageants organized here in Ghana, the event itself has had its up and downs, from beauty queens suing organizers to allegations of not receiving their promised prize packages. Just when we thought it was all over, the reigning Miss Ghana, Josephina Befi, was recently stripped of her crown, having said earlier that she no longer wanted to be the brand ambassador. Exclusive events organizers of the pageants have said they will find a replacement for her. Although they have not said who will replace her, many anticipate it may be either of the first or second runner-up. But even before that happens, one of the tabloids, Ras Punch newspaper is reporting the first and second runner-up of the 2013 pageant are also planning to relinquish their title. Should this go ahead, it will put organizers in a tight corner as they now have to start grooming a new candidate altogether. So what does that mean for Ghana's participation at the Miss World pageant later this year? Showbiz will seek some answers to these developments.
And when we find those answers, we'll bring them to you. You're watching news today. Our top stories this are: the police says it is investigating circumstances that led to the shooting of a 29-year-old trader at Dakuman, but the victim's family says the move will go nowhere. Well, you can find more news on myjoyonline.com. I'm done here. Thank you very much for your company. My name is Kamini Yamani Amana.